Before I begin, however, I do like to remind everybody that we love to hear what you guys have to say, whether you guys have a burning take or a question about the game, something that you've been dying to say. We are all ears, and if you really want your comment or question to get noticed, then you can go ahead and just click Super Chat. You can use it's right below the chat box. You hit the $, and you can send in your comments or your donations in that way. Really helps the show. It makes it way more interactive between myself and you guys. And if Super Chat isn't really your thing, you can always use the link displayed below the ticker, gsmcsports.net, and then you can go ahead and send in your comments or donations that way. But either or works out and really helps the show. And without further ado, let's go ahead and talk about Michael Jordan apologizing. This is something that I really did not expect Michael Jordan to do. He rarely ever apologizes about anything, really. You never really see him say, like, whenever he says something, he usually means it, and he stands on it. So the fact that he is apologizing to, let alone Scottie Pippen, who is right now his number one hater, then like that really takes a good man to be able to do that. And I can give the props where props are needed, because I mean, it's kind of difficult to apologize to your, I mean, not really, it shouldn't be that difficult considering how that is his former teammate, but given all the drama and things like that have unfolded recently in their careers, it does take a real man to do that. So the article opens up saying, Michael Jordan apologized to Scottie Pippen for covering the 1994 Bulls-Knicks playoff game where Pippen refused to enter the final play. And quote, he didn't say much other than to apologize. And so for those of you guys that need context and that didn't watch the NBA playoffs in 1994, me being one of them since I wasn't born in 1994, so the Bulls were just coming off their first three-peat. Michael Jordan, out of nowhere, suddenly decides to retire. And this is just instant. It is like nobody expects this. There's speculation that at least now, there's speculation that he was secretly suspended for his gambling addiction. Well, alleged gambling addiction. I personally don't really think it's an addiction, but a lot of people can think whatever they want to think about Michael Jordan and his gambling. And really, it was the first time that the team didn't have Michael Jordan. So Scottie Pippen was the number one option for the first time on a team. And the team did very well. They only lost one more game than they did the previous year. They had more or less the exact same pieces that they previously had. The only big missing piece was Michael Jordan. But this 1994 Bulls team ran the triangle under Phil Jackson to perfection. And they were fantastic. They were just great. And until they got into the postseason. So they played the Knicks in the postseason. The Bulls and the Knicks, they were big rivals, and well, not really big rivals, I guess you could say, because 9 out of 10 times the Bulls would win in the series, but they would almost always match up against the Knicks. And this time they matched up in, I believe it was the first round. And the Knicks were sort of having, they sort of had the advantage throughout most of the series. There was this one game that came in where the Knicks were up by 1 point. And the Chicago Bulls ended up taking a timeout and drawing up a final play call and see if they can win and take the final shot. Now, the play call was drawn for Tony Kukoc. Scottie Pippen hated that. Scottie Pippen did not like that. He did not like the fact that the final play call wasn't a designed shot for him to take. Scottie Pippen wanted to be the man of that night, and he wanted to win the game for the Bulls. Once he found out that the play call wasn't meant for him, he sat out and he chose to not play the final minutes of the game when the team desperately needed him. It ended up backfiring on him, though, and he ended up looking really, really bad for doing this, because Tony Kukoc ended up making the shot to win the game for the Bulls in the end, and I believe tie the series. So the fact that Scottie Pippen sat out when Tony Kukoc ended up making the shot, that's just a bad teammate right there. Like, that's just, I understand, like, sure, the play should have been designed for Pippen. He is the number one option. And Pippen's argument was, if Jordan was on the team, there is absolutely zero doubt on who would get the ball in the final play. And they would have drawn up a play for Michael Jordan. And so he's mad that they did not draw up a play for him like how they did for Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan in The Last Dance decided to talk about this, and for some reason, even though it had nothing to do with Michael Jordan or his time with baseball, and obviously it rubbed Scottie the wrong way. And as this article continues going on, it says, Pippen didn't act like a leader in Game 3 of the Bulls-Knicks series as he refused to go into the game on the final play Phil Jackson drew up for Tony Kukoc. And in his memoir, Unguarded, Pippen wrote that he and Jordan talked about the 1.8 seconds game being in The Last Dance. And according to Pippen, Jordan, who had editorial control over the docuseries, apologized to him. I asked why he had allowed the 1.8 seconds game to make the final cut, Pippen wrote. He didn't say much other than to apologize and acknowledge that if it were him, he too would be upset. I didn't press any further. I knew it would do no good. After Pippen refused to enter Game 3, Jackson subbed in Pete Myers. Kukoc made the game-winning shot at the buzzer, and everyone on the Bulls was upset at Pippen, who cried in the locker room after Bill Cartwright called him out in front of the team. And a day after Game 3, Jordan called Jackson to talk about the incident, and MJ knew Pippen would never escape it. Pippen didn't help himself by saying in The Last Dance that he wouldn't change what he did in 1994 if he had the chance to do it all over again. Before Pippen said that, here's what Jordan said. It's always going to come back to haunt him at some point in some conversation, Jordan said. Pip knows better than that. And the reality is, Pippen should know better than that. And it's really like, you have to be like the leader of the team. And I totally understand that as the leader, you expect to take the final shot, but you still have to have faith in your team. You can be upset at the play calling after the game, but during the game, when it is desperately needed, you have to just roll with it. And like, I know it's going to hurt your pride, but you have to roll for it. Like, that's the whole point of winning championships for the Bulls. That was literally the whole point, and how Michael Jordan was able to win championships, because he sacrificed his pride and his scoring prowess for the better of the team. Because if you notice, when Phil Jackson became the coach, it wasn't like Michael Jordan was just having the ball 24/7 like how in the previous years when Doug was the coach. Like, it was completely different. The style of play was completely different, and it wasn't just get the ball to Michael, everybody get out of the way, and like all of these other things. Like, it wasn't. It was none of that. It was more so. What in the world? Okay, apparently my computer wants to restart, and I am not having that. So just give me 1 second so I can schedule a restart, so that way it doesn't interfere with the show. I apologize for that, for the inconvenience. And hold on just 1 second. There we go. Either way, that's all that I really had to talk about in this segment, because there's really nothing else that needs to be talked about. Scottie Pippen, like, he did something wrong, and not really wrong. He did something completely immature, something uncalled for, and Michael would have felt the same way. He apologized for it. It still made the final cut on The Last Dance. If you guys are interested in watching that episode, I believe it was episode 7 of the Last Dance documentary. So if you guys really want to, like, hear what Michael Jordan had to say and you really want to see the entire situation unfold, go ahead and see that on Netflix. But we are out of time for this first segment, so now we will go ahead and go into the second segment, where I talk about JJ Redick and his plans for the Lakers offense and his ideas, his schemes, this, that, and the other. Everything that he said, like whether it be ranging from his podcast or whether it be ranging from interviews, we're going to go ahead and look at that and see exactly what's in stock for the Lakers next season. So I'll be right back after this short break. Please sure to stay tuned. I feel like I'm losing my mind.
everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign.
I wanna be the greatest. Everybody on the fake shit. I look around and feel like everybody is the fakest. I make this every day and I'm impatient, hoping one day I blow up from the basement. Statement, the top is so vacant. I don't hear shit that I think is amazing. Waiting for my day when I'm playing sold out shows for 1,000 faces. Hey, give me that crown. Get in my way and to be put down. It ain't your place, all this my town. If I want that shit, then I'll get it right now. I'm losing it, the noose it fits. I'm losing shit, a stupid myth. You choose to live or choose to dip. You choose to fight or lose your grip and lose a gift. Oh.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the